welcome to the podcast. Something we don't do much of anymore, do we?
That's not funny. I'm sensitive about it.
Why?
I hate that I'm so busy that we don't do it anymore.
Well, I guess I didn't say it on the podcast at all because it mostly happened a couple of Fridays ago, and then I had to prepare to get away. My big project I was working on was the radio station is now Toledo's 90s and 2000s with a heavy focus on, I'd say, the mid. Did you know that that 01 to like 10, it's called the aughts.
No.
It's called the aughts.
No.
AUGHTS.
Why?
So it's a heavy. I don't know where it came from, and it never really picked up, but I use it.
I see why.
Like what else do you call it? Like the zeros, the
early 2000s.
Yeah, but aughts is easier. So the station is primarily it's 90s and 2000s with a heavy focus on the aughts.
I was listening on the way here, and I continue to be more and more excited and impressed that I don't need to pay a subscription to Sirius because I can just tune into the station to hear all of the old schools, not even old school, but all of the stuff that I love. One of
my mentors and one of my oldest friends in radio, he oversees a great deal of programming at Sirius. Mm-hmm. And I usually talk to Bethany about this stuff, but I have like a rotation of channels that I listen to on Sirius. And two of the ones I spend a lot of time on are Pop 2K.
90s on 9.
A little bit. Pop 2K and the 10 spot.
Oh, the 10 spot, yes.
And I told my friend Alex, I was like, hey, can you do me a favor and shut these off in Toledo, please?
I know I sound like I know we're really good friends and I support everything you do.
We're not?
Shut up. I sound like a Google review when I say it because I've only ever said good things, but every single time I'm tuning into the radio, I'm like dancing in my car or singing, or it just makes my day better. I'm so happy with the change. Well done. You
have to let me know when you get sick of particular songs or artists, because that's going to be the art in it, because this is very rewarding for me. I have adjusted radio stations like we did in 2020, where we went and played different, better songs.
I don't know how I feel about Gwen Stefani.
I don't like Gwen.
Yeah, I've heard her twice. I heard her twice in one weekend.
That's enough for me for like. I'm not a Gwen fan.
Let me switch.
I have never done anything like this, where there's a couple of radio stations around the country that have done this. There is the Bounce in Detroit, which is it's black music for white ladies. Like, they play all the stuff that we're playing, but like no pop rock stuff. Oh. And they've been on the air for 5 or 6 years.
I think I listen to that when I'm in the Detroit area.
They're 100.
It's like throwbacks, right? But for hip hop throwbacks. Yeah, I listen to that.
And it's nothing too hard, but it's all like stuff that were like pop hits, and they have made it work for a long time, and that's the art in making this. Because what we've done is essentially a new format, and I keep calling it like classic pop, like over at 93.5. They play Billy Joel and some 70s rock and Prince. That format has always been called classic hits. Well, this is classic pop because Gwen Stefani. We play some Oh Wow, No Doubt. That's like 30.
I like No Doubt.
It's like 25 years old.
I do like No Doubt.
The Sweet Escape with Akon. That's 15 years old.
That's sad.
That's a lot of people's virginity.
I don't want to talk about it.
So, that's that, and that took a lot of. Oh, and I've never done anything like that, where basically created a format.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you like it.
And I'm not saying that just because I'm your friend.
Good. Well, thank you.
Can I change the subject?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of throwbacks, I introduced Thomas to a movie yesterday, an old school, like ancient movie. Do you remember the Fat Boys?
Yeah.
We watched Disorderlies.
Yeah, I remember that.
The best movie.
I haven't seen that in decades.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Watching it now, I'm like, oh, this was terribly made, but it's so funny. So funny.
They didn't have
was a good time.
They didn't have any staying power.
I wasn't alive, but
it was good. It was an okay movie for time.
Yeah.
Have you ever? What is it? House Party with Kid and Play?
House Party, Baps. I put Baps in the same category.
Baps?
You don't know what Baps is with Halle Berry?
Nope.
Baps, Black American Princesses.
That's Japs, Jewish American Princesses.
Eric, you don't know Babs?
Never heard
Where's
of it.
Floyd? Go get him.
Well, wait a second. You're talking to like art. Like I thought you meant artists, like music.
No, it's a movie. Baps.
Right. Well, I thought you were talking about movies that had like artists in it.
Well, no. I think that one had Heavy D in it.
Okay.
You've never seen Baps?
Never heard of it.
Oh my gosh. I'm texting Floyd right now.
No, don't.
Ugh.
Sorry.
Gosh, is it because he's working?
Yes.
Fine.
My big takeaway from my trip home. You came home. We took a ride back. I think it was the first long car ride trip you've ever been with me from Put-in-Bay back here. And you noted that I take some corners at some speed.
You do. When you're driving, you do the speed limit and you stay pretty much within like 5 miles per hour.
Especially
either the
that
speed
route.
limit or like 5 miles per hour over. You don't deviate. Like you let people go around you.
That road, yes, but I'm usually like an 8 to 10 miles an hour over guy.
But when you hit those corners and when you hit your brakes, it's a little slow. The brakes are slow. You're slow to hit the brakes, and you're fast around the corners, like they're on rails.
I like to. I'm aggressive but not dangerous driver.
I would agree.
I am not. I'll say that the best way to describe me is I don't hesitate because I drove with my grandma, Grammy Weisberg, the house where my dad lives now, and it was terrifying. Like she did too slow, she was too careful. I'm aggressively defensive. I was skittish and at times afraid and scared driving in Philadelphia. Like,
wow.
You know how people here, like there's a complaint where people will just go through the yellow turning to red on left turns.
Mm-hmm. That happened just now.
Like I was like 1001, 1002, 1003, and they're still coming through the red. I was on 95, which is the East Coast 75, Saturday afternoon, and it was like a mid-afternoon type rush. The roads are really congested, and that's what made it. The area is busier and more congested than ever. But I'm on 95. And the only way I can describe this is the person that was driving that probably frightened a lot of people on 95. They were either being chased by the police or were the police. And they were swerving in and out of people at 80 plus miles an hour. In like what was again a late afternoon
bumper to bumper.
kind of not bumper to bumper. Like they had room to get through.
Slow roll.
But it was tight, and that kind of like
I hate that.
Put a dot on the I of some of the wild driving. Like it was the Wild West.
I'm going to tell you how dangerously petty I am. When things like that happen, sometimes I feel small urges. Like that actually just happened to me just now on my way here. Sometimes I feel sudden urges to want to jump in front of them
put your brakes on
and like wreck them, like or cause them to have to overcorrect and then realize what they were doing was incredibly dangerous. But that puts me in danger and other people in danger and them in danger.
Yep.
So that's why I'm saying I'm dangerously petty. There was a car just on the way here. It was an Audi, and they must have been going to the hospital or something, and I was about to turn in the turning lane, and they turned like a half a mile. They turned into the lane that is to become a turning lane early. So they jumped in front of like 3 other cars that hadn't yet turned into the turning lane because we hadn't gotten up to it yet.
I do that.
I hate that. So he was going too fast. If he was going any slower, I would have jumped over and be like, you wait your turn. There's people in front of you that need to turn as well. So you're going to wait. But that's the dangerous, petty side of me.
Right.
I would have done that on the highway.
I do.
Or wanted to.
I do see myself as a deputized sheriff on the roads as well at times.
Why am I so rigid?
Alex, there were times I was frightened, and part of it was I was unfamiliar with certain places where I was going because so much has changed since
I was wondering if you've forgotten.
I've last been home. I saw numerous accidents my first night home, and it wasn't even rush hour. There was one accident I passed, which would essentially be like our Anthony Wayne Trail. It was 8 o'clock. There were several police vehicles. You had to go slow to get by them, and I thought from the looks of the accident when I drove by, I was like, "Is that an arm?" And it wasn't. But
oh gosh, a detached arm.
It wasn't an arm. It was something else. But I had to really, really pay close attention. Like, no screwing around with the radio or anything like that. It was kind of scary. And in addition to that, like, people were just so miserably awful.
Oh no!
Like, and I know that. Like,
I'm worried for you.
When I enjoy the people here, and I've referenced before that the way people say hi to you on the East Coast is usually with a middle finger. I went to at least 8 Wawas collecting soft pretzels.
Did you bring me any?
They're at home. I have plenty. I didn't know you were going to come in today.
That's true.
I went to at least 8, and at one of them, the person who was completing the transaction said something to me. Not something nice, something.
Have a nice day.
The other ones, like, I took time away from them being on their phone.
Oh my God.
So many miserable, awful human beings.
Are Wawas traditionally found in like gas stations?
Well, no, they kind of added gas stations well after the fact.
Okay. Yeah, you're in a bigger city. I mean, sometimes I experience that when I go home, and like Cleveland is nothing compared to Philadelphia, in my opinion. So, or like half of that. Philadelphia's pretty big and fast paced and further on the East Coast, so less in the Midwest.
Absolutely,
more on the East Coast. So I'm bummed. I wanted to go, which we don't need to talk about that. But did you at least have a good time? I mean, besides those things, was it like, okay, I can say I've done it. Now I'll go back in another 10 years.
I can tell you that there was one point where I felt joy.
Yay!
One point. So, like, when I was texting you the first 12 to 24 hours, I was very out of sorts. I went over to Paul and Tracy's house, and I didn't even know if that was going to happen the first night. It did.
Oh, it did? Oh, good.
And I had no expectations about Noelle, because I have been warned many a times that she just doesn't
do strangers yet.
Yeah. It was tough to get comfortable at my dad's place. I slept on the living room sofa.
That antique.
Yes, the colorful sofa.
The Art Deco. What is it? Is it even Art Deco?
No.
It looks like it's out of Austin Powers.
Yes.
I like it, though. It's in good condition.
It is, because it was the living room at my grandparents', and nobody ever used that.
Oh, it's nice.
And the bedroom that I could have slept in is, like, I'm fairly certain that's the bed where my grandfather died.
So you didn't sleep there?
No. And the sofa was comfortable enough. I took today was the second shower I've taken since when I left. I took one. I was there Thursday,
poor dad.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I came back Sunday. I took one shower. My dad was like offended because I emphasized that I thought the shower was dirty when it was really just old and uncomfortable. And it was totally clean, but I did drop the soap, and I'm not bullshitting you. You could not bend over in the shower.
It was
so narrow.
It was a very tight, like, what are those things called? Like shower stall, like that. The picture that you sent me, and it looked old. So, I'm sad he was offended. I would have, you showered though, so
once, and I don't smell, thankfully. And it was every day I was there. It was like heat index type heat. And I had gone to the gym and everything, but thankfully I don't smell.
Do the homes have front lawns in Philly?
Yeah. And my dad lives in a pretty compact neighborhood. It's a small lawn.
Okay. But something he has to like maintain.
Yeah, but it doesn't take real long for him to mow the lawn or everything. It's a pretty small area. To give you an idea of my discomfort, and I get it. Like, I haven't been there in a long time. It's not my home anymore. I don't see these people at all. The city, as I explained, was quite jarring for me getting around. I said, Dad, I have to go buy water. And he said, what? I said, I have to go buy water. My dad has nothing but tap water. No, not even a pitcher of iced tap water in the fridge. He had tap water. So I had to go out and buy bottles of water. And they have like all these like Aldi knockoff places. One had $1.99 chicken. Oh, I wish I could have brought chicken back. Also in there, it seemed like people were pissed off that I was taking up time to try to check out and give them my money. But whatever. But yeah, I was so out of my element, I had to go buy water.
I like tap water. Whatever is in the tap, in the pipes, all the crystallized, whatever you want to call it, tastes delicious. I love it. Just give me some ice. Let me put the ice in my tap water.
Builds character and chest hair.
It does. Helps your teeth.
Yeah.
Helps your stomach bacteria.
We did have like crappy Philadelphia tap water for years. That's why for as long as I can remember, my mom had bought a filter because she didn't like the aftertaste.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
I ventured down to my dad's basement on Saturday and found all this stuff. It was like a museum. I found this
time capsule,
basically, and he had sold a lot of my grandfather's stuff.
Back?
What's that?
Did you bring anything back?
No, I just took a lot of pictures. And I found my maternal grandfather's naturalization papers from like 1918, and it says on there that he is like an alien of Russia. And I'm fairly certain wherever he came from is not called Russia anymore. But that was neat to see. And we talked a little bit about my great grandparents, and my dad showed me some pictures of people who have been dead for decades now, and the family members.
We don't have any of that stuff. I wish we did. I know my mom has her passport is not in English, and her birth certificate is not in English, and she's got a letter from her grandmother that's not in English. But we don't have like anything. I have nothing on my father's parents, nothing really on my father, and nothing on my mother.
There's very little back there too.
I think it's cool to be able to see that kind of stuff.
It was neat when I found the naturalization thing. I mean, my dad went out and got a magnifying glass to look at it, and I don't know what he thought it was, but he had looked at it for like 10 minutes, and I was like, Dad, it says naturalization. I'm fairly sure that was your grandfather's citizenship.
Yeah.
His grandfather. But as you know, we're not very sentimental people, so there wasn't much. But I just felt like kind of uncomfortable and out of place.
I bet you would. Yeah.
I settled in on Saturday. I had lunch or a coffee with an old radio friend of mine, and went over to Cherry Hill, New Jersey, which is essentially a suburb of Philadelphia. And they had an Eagles pro shop. The Eagles are like such a big deal. It's wild to see how sports have taken over the city. And I got a football helmet puzzle, and I felt great.
Fun fact about Jason Kelsey: he was mean when he was a kid. He was a meanie.
He's probably mean now on the field.
Great now, yeah, sarcastically mean.
My friend Nicole told me that there's a rumor that Travis Kelsey went out with Taylor Swift.
I don't think so. I think he attempted.
Okay.
And got denied.
Okay. Stay away from her. You don't want a song.
Yeah,
sung
I don't.
After
I
you.
just wouldn't. Anyway.
What else?
Well, I'm glad though. I mean, it's probably tough to like. You're somebody that's introverted, and you're somebody that your home is like your comfortable place. So even leading up to the travel, like I'm sure it went through your mind, like, do I want to go? Like,
no,
did you go back and forth with it?
Nope.
Wow.
I was set. There was no reason not to go, but I greatly dislike people. I went there and I was like,
except me.
Please let like the meteor come. Like these people were just terrible, awful human beings.
So if they were in the movie Don't Look Up, what would be happening in Philadelphia? They'd be arguing with each other, or like participating in road rage or congestion traffic as the meteor like flies over them.
Terrible human beings.
That's funny.
Attitudes, awful. It was they in our neighborhoods, and you have them where you are, they have those speed bumps in the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I've always said that the sign stating bump is too close to the bump.
Yes.
And the bump is the same color as the street.
Yes.
So they have them in Philadelphia now, which I'd never seen before. They call them, it says speed hump, 25 miles an hour.
Yep.
Make your own jokes. But they have, like, leading up to the bump, white lines.
Oh, that would be nice, because that lets you know that it's coming. I mean,
Correct.
There's been many of times where I'm just in the zone, flying through a neighborhood, and
doing the speed limit, but still
a little, depending on where I'm at. I mean, sometimes I maybe go a little over, and I know I shouldn't, but hey. And then I hit the speed bump because I didn't notice
And you
it.
get air.
I didn't, yep, because I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
Always.
I didn't go to the convention I had gone home for.
I didn't know you went home for a convention.
Yeah, like RetroCon, all like 80s and 90s stuff of all kinds.
Oh, that would have been too much for you.
I wanted to, well, maybe. I was hoping that my brother, whose friend runs the thing, was going to like take care of us. That didn't seem in the cards. And I had gone to like 6 comic and collectible shops.
Did you find anything?
Not really.
Okay.
But that kind of filled that urge. And I'm like, let me get back a day early so I can do my games, pizza, and drinking thing. Literally catch up on sleep on Monday, which I needed to. And I was back. I needed to catch up on sleep. Diddy doesn't play with toys. Do the dogs have toys, right?
They stopped playing with toys once I gave them bones regularly. So they, like, nothing compares to a bone. Unless you pull out the toy and start to throw it, they're not going to play with it. Or start to punch it.
Diddy has balls. Not the kind that were cut off of him. Like some balls.
I'm like, he wasn't fixed.
I took his stuff away from him because he would tear stuff up. He can't have tennis balls. So his balls are indestructible.
Pete too.
Like rubber and whatever the other ones are. Well, Luna, my dad's dog, has a box of toys, which Diddy took all of them out and destroyed half of them. And the first night we were there on Thursday, he played with the toys all night. And when I say all night,
I believe it.
It was like 2:30 in the morning.
No, you have to put those away.
And I start hearing squeaks.
You have to put
Squeaks.
them away.
And I'm like, Diddy, stop. I took the squeaks away from him. When you say bones, like the hard bones or like rawhide things?
Beef hide or something like that. It's a hide that's not as bad for them, but yeah, like those kind.
So Luna had a couple like hard bones, like the kind I could throw through that glass window, like those kinds of bones.
No.
And I put it on the table behind my head. And then after I told Diddy to knock it off, I hear him next to me, and he's trying to grab the bone off the table.
Over you?
Not over me, but he's trying to snatch the bone off the table to play more. Like he was up all night.
You need to share with the public that photo of Diddy playing with the toy and specifically circle Luna, because Luna's face was kind of like, this motherfucker has my toy.
Oh, she didn't care.
It was hilarious, but her face was what was so funny. It was so funny. I loved that Diddy had those toys. Like, there was something freeing. It was like a kid.
This one where her head's down?
No. You have to go to the pictures you sent me.
I think I saved everything.
Yeah, but you sent me some very specific ones.
Private pictures.
Dirty photos? No.
Yeah, that goddamn shower.
This one.
Oh,
Look at her. She's like, what?
Yeah, this must have been the first day.
Oh, it was so funny.
Yeah, her head's all cocked to the side.
Oh my goodness, it was so funny, but also so happy for Did that he probably had to enjoy himself.
Oh, he loved
being
it.
in the car the whole time. Being in a new city, in a new place. I can't, like, my dogs would never have relaxed. They would not have slept. So that makes sense that he was just up playing with new
all
toys, with new smells.
I've had Diddy for 11 years, Andre for 6, 7. I thought I knew everything about my dogs. I found out something about Diddy Saturday when my dad was playing with the dogs. I could probably get something out of a shark's mouth before I could Diddy. My dad was like, you try to get the donut or whatever out. I'm like, oh, Dad, stop. It's not that strong. I couldn't get it out. He hates to be picked up. I'm like, watch.
Does he?
Hates to be picked up. I'm like, I'll pick him up.
Would hate me then.
That'll distract him and it'll fall out. I picked him up. He tightened his grip. Like, I could not get it out.
I don't think I told you the story. Did I tell you Thomas, Petey bit Thomas last week?
No.
Yeah, he bit him. So we had Thomas's siblings over for like a hole-in-the-wall barbecue in our yard with just like lawn chairs and whatnot, and they wanted to see the dogs. We left Petey in his crate because he doesn't do well with big big crowds of people. He seems to do okay with adults. He doesn't like kids. So, because the kids want to pet him and he doesn't want to be petted. Like, I will come up to you, but don't touch me. Like, I'll come sniff you. I might even jump on you, maybe lick your hand, but don't touch me. And kids don't understand that. And Thomas's nieces were sitting down, and Pete came to them, and they were like, oh, he's so cute. And they reached out to pet him, and he kind of stood back. And so then they jumped because they got scared. So they jumped when he backed up. And by them jumping, he got scared. So he like lunged at them and kind of like clenched his teeth. And then they screamed. And by them screaming and like jumping and all this drama, he lunged at them like real good, like really lunged at them. He didn't bite them though, but he like snarled at them and lunged at them. And so I'm yelling at Thomas, who's in the middle of drinks and conversations with his family, and I'm like, get him now, like pick him up, because he's about to tear them up. So Thomas went to pick him up. Pete's back was to him,
so he didn't know it was coming.
He didn't know it was coming. So when Thomas leaned down to pick him up, Pete just turned around and bit him.
Where'd he get him?
In his hand. It drew blood too. In his hand.
Stand by a second. Let me knock out a traffic report, okay?
Yep.
75 both directions between exits 5 and 9 up in Michigan. Slow going with construction. Also 75 southbound at 280. We have a disabled vehicle on the right shoulder. That's your Cumulus Toledo right now traffic.
It was just the chaos of the evening, like the newness of it all. You're still in your new yard. There's people you've never met. Like, I have never seen him just run around as much as I did, and just like smelling everything, seeing everything. So I think it just really took him over the edge. And what was so funny is immediately after he did that, he expressed his anal glands. Like Thomas scared the shit out of him so bad that he literally scared the shit out of him. So when Thomas carried him into the house and I followed, the house reeked of like, you know what anal gland smells.
I do.
It smelled like fish. Like the whole house reeked of fish. And I had to like light a candle and spray it because Petey, poor thing, was just excreting this nastiness because he was so scared and worked up. Poor baby.
Violent wiener dog.
Poor baby, my sweetie.
I think that's everything with the trip. We had a family dinner.
Nice.
Saturday night at Miller's Ale House, which
How
is
was Phoenix? I want to hear about. Well, maybe we probably can't talk about Phoenix, but I just love the stories, and so I'm curious if when you were finally there, was he like just like a norm? Phoenix is like 10?
11.
Okay, so he's like a normal 11-year-old where he could give a shit what any adult is doing.
Correct. And I just, like, my time here with you is taken away by Fortnite time.
That's funny. I love that. I do love all the stories about when Phoenix is messaging you or what he's saying, or
go
my
to Arby's,
sister just pooped herself, like that kind of thing, you know?
I should go to Arby's. That's where the girlfriends are at. Oh, this is funny. So there's a little... Oh, okay. So his first day at middle school, there was a bomb threat by an 11-year-old.
Yes.
Thursday when I was there, a note was written to him. I'm like, a note? Like, why are you getting why don't they text? So a little black girl named Michaela.
Thought he was cute.
No, she wanted to talk to Phoenix's friend Bryce.
Oh.
And now I think it was the next day. She added an incentive. She said, you can keep this $1 if Bryce talks to me.
You're joking.
She gave Phoenix $1. I was like, first of all,
she paid for Bryce's attention.
Right. And
kids these days.
I don't think Bryce was into it at all, but
I just love the Phoenix commentary. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah.
He's funny.
Very.
I'm excited to hear about him as a young adult.
And Noelle is just a little person that likes the people that she knows.
I see the family resemblance. I really think she looks like Paul.
She's definitely Paul and Tracy's kid. I did not know she has strawberry blonde or red hair.
Yeah.
And that could only potentially come from my mom's mom, Grammy Bale, who had red hair.
Well, isn't that kind of what you had too, though?
No.
A little? Yes, you did.
Did you not see the pictures of my haircut?
I have, but like you, even now, like I feel like you were a little bit of a redhead.
Did you not see?
You had a little bit in you. I did see that.
The bowl pictures?
I did see you were cute. What cute kids.
There's nothing about that's red.
But as you got older, though,
No.
Yes. What's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it.
I don't see it at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's
What is going on out there?
just a typical Tuesday in Toledo.
I don't want to go.
Well, can we have a discussion about audiobooks?
Sure.
I listened to my first audiobook. Actually, the show was better than the book itself. They did the end of season 1 reveal. So 10 shows of this show in the very first chapter of the book. I'm like, well, that's disappointing.
So then the book, the rest of the book was about season 1, or is it into season 2 that we haven't seen yet?
And I didn't know that this book that I downloaded is like the whole series. So it's multiple books. And it's like 14 hours long, and I got 10 of the way through.
Sweet.
I'm not going to finish it. I'll Wikipedia the rest because it hasn't been that interesting.
Oh, okay,
I'm glad the show writers, did much better.
I thought you enjoyed it, though.
It got me through 2 9-hour car rides, so whatever, it did the trick. I will die on the hill that if you listen to an audiobook, you have not fucking read it.
Why?
Reading is a certain activity.
It's more work.
No!
I think it is.
It's not reading, it's digesting, it's consuming. It is not reading.
No, I'm saying reading is more work. Like reading a book is
whatever, maybe.
laborious.
It is. But if you listen to an audiobook, don't tell me you read the book.
Oh, what do you say? I listened to the book?
Yeah.
I know.
That's like, do people read this podcast?
Yeah, but it doesn't come in 2 forms. It only comes in 1.
It could. I could transcript this.
Oh my god.
You listen. You do not. You can do a lot of things, but reading is not listening to a book.
I disagree.
And
I would still say I read it.
So what is it? What is it when you read something? What is the act of reading?
I guess I listened to it.
Thank
I don't
you.
know. I find that strange. Whatever.
I will die on that hill. The person that was reading the book did a nice job. And since that was the first book I ever read, and I had the visual of what happened in the show anyway, it was totally satisfying. But I think my imagination fills the pictures a little more if I were just reading it in my head rather than having it read to me. Does that make any sense?
Yes. Can I tell you, I really enjoy reading out loud because I can put expression and however, you know how you used to be in school and your teacher was such a good reader and made the book so interesting and it was the way that they read it? I like to do that. Somebody sign me up to do audiobooks. I'll set up a studio in my basement.
I've thought about that too, like people that do that job. Like this person read 14 hours.
Yeah, but not all at once.
Oh, I know, but I think that it's probably a lot more challenging than people think to go, I could read that book out loud.
There's a whole TikTok dedicated to it. So you can search like audiobook recordings on TikTok and you can see how they do it. That's kind of how I got interested in it. I've done voiceovers for work-related things. Like if you dial our number, that's me, reading off of a script and all of that. So I've done it before. I think I've done stuff for no, I didn't do anything for the station, but I find it fun and fascinating that you're reading and you can like dramatic pause, or like give the expression when you're changing from one person's perspective to another person's perspective. I would love to do that. I've seen people have studios in their house. So imagine coming home from work and then hopping on for 2 hours of audiobook reading, and then you get it done in 2 weeks, and then they pay you $5,000. Sweet.
There's an acting element to it.
Help me sign up for it.
I go onto your TikTok and do that. Yeah, this person who was reading it did a good job. with voices as well. And I don't know if when you're listening to a book, if there are different voices.
In my head, there are. When I'm reading it, there are.
Well, when you're listening to it, is it just one person? When there's a female part, this male read it, but in a softer voice. When there was a more gruff character, they read it that way.
Right.
It was well done. I was very impressed. And you know what? Even while the interest of the book really tailed off, like so much so, I'm like, I can't believe they let this person write so many books, because it was
Really?
it was really not that not that interesting.
That's too bad.
I enjoyed what you're talking about, the talent of the person reading it. What did I miss while I was away? What did you do this weekend? A lot was going on.
So maybe we can talk about that another day. I had a weekend. I had a very interesting weekend. The weekend before, I was incredibly anxious. It was almost unbearable. I had to get in the shower for hours. It was terrible. I'm like, I don't understand why I'm so anxious. I think I had chalked it up to, it was Sunday, so it was the end of the weekend. So Monday is just a dark cloud over your entire Sunday, and I had too many Coca-Colas. So I'm going to chalk it up to that. This weekend, though, there was so much happening, and I wanted to be there for all of it, but I just couldn't. You know how I'm just tired. So Momentum was Friday, and I would have loved to go to that, because I find them to be really interesting and fun and just lively, but in a way that's not congested, and you know what I mean? It's not like gaff. And I did not go to that. And Saturday was Recovery is Beautiful. I also took the day off Friday from work. Saturday was Recovery is Beautiful. That happens every year. I didn't go to that. It was also the Ohio Women's Leadership Summit. I had tickets for that. I didn't go to that. TMA's block party, which I have wanted to go to every year, and I miss it. I didn't go to that. I went to Andrew's football game, his first football game of the year. I cried because that's the kind of aunt I am. I don't know how I'm going to have kids for myself. I don't know if I have any more love to give, because it's all tied up in my nephews and literally everything they do. Does that make sense?
Yes, but as soon as you conceive and grow and then spit out that child, it just happens. You will have, your love will be more plentiful within you to give.
I don't think it can. Am I going to be that parent that cries every day for everything they do? Am I going to be that parent that's like, oh my gosh, you're never going to be in your newborn clothes anymore? It's over. Is that me? Literally, Andrew, this flag football league is super cute, and they had a tunnel, like a blow-up tunnel with a fog machine.
To run out.
And music so that they could run out. And Andrew got to run out with his team, and he got announced, and he's running down the aisle, and all the parents are lined up giving them high fives, and I'm recording it. I have the video on my phone. I was going to send it to you while you were away, but I didn't. And I'm like, look at it. This is so nice. And it was his first game, and I'm just a mess. So we did that, and I went out with my mom to at home, and came home, and I didn't really do anything. I mean, I didn't even do anything around the house. We got our couch delivered, so that was nice to sit in that for a full weekend. And the same thing Sunday. I did do work-related things. I sent emails and whatnot, and then the Black Suicide Vigil was Sunday night, so I did speak at that for a bit, but it was one of those weekends where I'm like, I just don't want, I want to do everything and nothing at the same time. I want to do everything, but I cannot work myself up to do it, and I hate that. I hate that feeling. I hate it so much, and it was just lingering.
What are you doing Saturday?
Allegedly, Thomas's family are coming back. Saturday is his mom's birthday, his mom's heavenly birthday. So his siblings are supposed to be coming back, but I have to go to the Mud Hens game for work at 5. So, and I believe Andrew has a football game in the morning. Why?
I have the Run for Life at Dana if you want to come. Don't worry about it.
It's probably at the time of Andrew's football game.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah.
I was talking to Stuart over the weekend, and I asked him if he had gone to the football game, and he went to some of it. Unfortunately, Texas Southern didn't go to the UT football game. And he said, I didn't see too many of Brian, the athletic director's like additions, or I guess like it was a little lackluster, whatever it was. It was 71-3, so it's hard to get really like excited for that kind of thing. And I said, I was like, there's a ton of stuff going on.
Yes.
The things you mentioned, Greek American Festival.
Yes.
Black Swamp Arts Festival.
Black Swamp. Didn't go to that either. I really wanted to go to that. Didn't go.
There's a couple other things that I had on my list. And yeah, there's a lot going on these days.
I hated that. And I was almost overwhelmed. And so I just shut down. I think that's the best way to describe it. I was so overwhelmed that I didn't even know if I was going to go to Andrew's football game, which says a lot. So I was just so overwhelmed that I just shut down. And I would still say I'm still like 50% of that is still lingering, but I hate that. I hate when that happens. And it's like, go away already so that I could have the energy and the motivation to do things that I enjoy. I don't want to sit here, but also I want to sit here.
That's very much an Eric thing. Wow, there's so many choices to do. You don't even have to do something super busy. Something small, whatever. You have all these options. It is a smorgasbord of things to do. And you know what? So that I'm fair, I just won't go to any of them.
That wasn't. It was kind of the opposite. And I was trying to finagle it where I said, okay, well, I'll just give up for Saturday. So I'm going to do this on Saturday, and we'll go to Black Swamp on Sunday. And then I'll come back from Black Swamp, and I'll go to the Black Suicide Vigil. But there was some work that I should have done earlier in the week, and I didn't, again, because the trend of me being, like, overwhelmed is making me procrastinate. So that was over my head, and I was like, girl, you still didn't do it. Don't go enjoy yourself when you didn't even do what you needed to do. So lots of things going on in my mind.
Well, thanks for not doing any
for no reason at all.
Doing anything without me. It did seem like everybody was at the block party though, which good for them.
But you wouldn't have gone with me
no,
anyway. I
too
have
busy.
asked you for years to go.
The pictures that I saw didn't seem to relay this, but in years past, I know it's gotten kind of nutty and wild. Now, those have also been in July.
Right.
Maybe it's a little different now, and with the Greek American Festival. I don't know. I should ask Katie, but Katie told me she was like trapped inside at her station the whole time.
So if I would have picked two things that you would have done with me for that weekend, I feel like you would have gone to Momentum and Black Swamp.
I think art is dumb.
Well, I mean, but it was also a little bit of a party, so it wasn't just art.
Greek American Festival.
Really?
Yeah.
The crowd?
Good food, good vibe.
Huh.
One of the first things I noticed when I got home was I kind of like did a sigh. I was like, oh, this is nice. Different colors of people.
Yeah.
And then I was like, ugh, so many of these people are fucking assholes.
Like that quickly left you, and
right.
What sunk in was
like, I don't even, maybe the mistake was I needed to get, I packed somewhat light. I'm like a nervous packer. Every time I say I'm gonna travel as light as possible, I give myself like a B- on how I packed. Especially since I didn't shower a whole lot, I didn't have to change clothes a whole lot. I needed to get a tub to take back all the pretzels because they weren't going to fit in any of the bags I brought home. So I went to Walmart the first night I was there, and maybe that was just a bad idea.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I went to what is essentially the Glendale Walmart, but a lot busier.
Oof. You set yourself up for failure.
I know. Have you followed the story that there's like some fugitive in Philadelphia too? Like some prisoners been on the run for days?
Yeah, but apparently there's like some sheriff's department helicopters circling our area.
Here?
Yeah, right now.
Are they here? That would be, maybe they followed me back.
I don't know. There's somewhere, it says Butler County, and there's somewhere, it's a Cessna and a sheriff's department helicopter all circling the area up, I think, towards the Michigan border.
Did anything else of note happen here?
I don't think so. No. Toledo was Toledoing on Patrol Live.
Oh, really?
This week.
How does that work? Do they just have a camera on, and if something happens, they go to them?
I think they have. They have the camera on at all times. It's not. I don't think it's quite live because the show comes on at 9. The incident that was on that they were reporting allegedly live happened at like 8. So it did happen that same day because it was so dramatic and kind of funny. There were people recording it on Facebook Live. So we were watching it happen on Facebook Live around 8:00, but On Patrol Live doesn't come on until 9. So I'm not sure how that works out, but
What? How they've been here for months?
yeah, no, for months, yeah.
Why is that?
July.
I
It's
figured
just a season.
I figured they'd pop in and then pop out, like you do Toledo 1 week or 1 month, and then you're gone.
No, I think every city that they have on the show has a camera crew that stays with them.
Right,
the
that's what I
duration.
thought. And then, like when stuff's happening, they flip it on.
Right, and there's commentary in a studio.
Got it. Got it.
It's
like sports.
It is. We kind of enjoy it. I mean, but we loved like Rescue 911 and Cops back in the day, so we watched all of that stuff. So it just makes sense that we would enjoy something like this. But Toledo was Toledoing, and we had a woman, I won't assume gender, but I believe it was a female, climbed up to the top of a tree when she was drunk, and then they were trying to get her down, and she was making all these threats, and then she peed on them. She peed on all 4 officers.
It happens.
It trickled down and got on all of them. It was so gross. Poor Sergeant McClendon. It was so gross.
Pee, vomit, defecation. Nothing can take the shine off that smile. Two last home things.
Yes.
Like business stuff. There's a plastic bag ban in the city.
Oh, do they charge you?
Yeah, like a dime or something. You gotta bring your cloth bag. And on that roadway, Roosevelt Boulevard, again, like the trail, the boulevard is bigger. After years and years of just like literally pedestrians, no, you shouldn't be crossing there, whatever, but people getting mowed down, and like one of the most dangerous intersections in the country, they activated traffic cams. Huh. And if you go, my dad has already gotten a couple of $100 tickets.
Yeah, I think we talked about that.
Yeah. If
what kind of car does Barry drive?
That's a good Subaru. No, a Hyundai Kona. I can't.
Oh, that's right.
I can't keep track.
Yeah, that's right.
Between him and Paul. When I went over to Paul's house, I was like, I said to my uncle, my mom's brother, if you would have given me 10 guesses as to which one of these is Paul's car, I wouldn't know. I can't keep track of them. But yeah, if you go over, the cameras supposedly activate at 11 miles over, so 56 miles an hour.
Huh.
And they just snap ticket. And aside from the congestion, it seems to have slowed people down because it was a dragway.
I believe that. And
I want our cameras back on like that. I don't care about your constitutional rights.
I think that would absolutely be helpful. I mean, I don't know. I don't mind like a traffic cam. I don't like it when an officer is like out of his car hiding, taking pictures with his like speed gun or whatever that's called. That I don't like. I don't mind a traffic camera like at an intersection. That makes sense. Just do it. Keep them turned on.
Yeah, and maybe it's a product. It is likely a product of a bunch of things, but the cameras being off on a Lexus has caused some pretty awful carnage.
And the trail, people just fly through the trail because there's no cameras. I mean, there used to be that point where we would slow down. We don't do that anymore.
Right. Yeah, I'd be all for them coming back. Did you see what the New Mexico governor did?
Banned guns?
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's ballsy.
So. And I saw it because there was a county that was in the news because the sheriff department said he was not going to enforce it.
The Albuquerque, like in the city, that's I get it. Like she probably
banned all guns.
Yeah.
Or
she probably, and that if you were carrying, it was gonna be like a $1,500 fine, and the sheriff wasn't going to enforce it.
That's not helpful or realistic.
I think she knew that this was gonna happen, and I think all this was very predictable. But I think she just wanted to get her point across. Like, hey, we know that Philadelphia and Toledo and Chicago have all these murders, but I guess they've had some kids blown away, and she wanted to get that on the radar somehow.
Smart then if you knew this wasn't going to go through, but you did it anyway, so people would pay attention. But I just feel like that's not helpful. I mean, part of common sense gun law reform is not getting rid of it. I mean, common sense would mean don't get rid of it. Just do, make these additional changes that make a lot more sense. So I like on both ends, we shouldn't get rid of them like that or place a ban on them. But on the other end, it shouldn't be as accessible as it is either.
The gun buyback program with Toledo, you're excited about that?
No, I just sent it to you because I was saying, hey, look, this is what you said.
Well, I said, no, you call a number to not shoot someone. This is a bit more practical where you get gas cards for your gun. Gas cards for guns.
The very first comment was like, I'll pay cash instead of gas cards if you sell them to me.
That's funny. That's funny. I like that.
Who wants a gas card? Gas isn't even that outrageous anymore.
It was $3.90 something back home.
Was it?
Yeah. Anything else? Any other news things that have hit you in recent days?
No.
Did you watch football? You follow any football this weekend?
I didn't. We didn't pay our cable bill. I mean, our internet bill, but like you know how we have YouTube TV?
Mm-hmm.
We did not continue with that subscription right now. It's on pause.
Okay.
So I didn't watch any live football.
I can give you Barry's Verizon password to get the apps to watch like I do.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I mean, we have everything else. We just don't have. I haven't watched any news networks or anything in quite a while.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. We'll try to do this again sometime before 2 weeks from now.
Bye-bye.